everyone, and welcome back to another video. So the past couple of videos I've been complaining about the heat and mentioning that I tend to not leave my hair down when it gets really hot. Now a lot of the times I do just put it up in a bun or a ponytail. However, today I'm going to show you what I do with my hair when I want it to look a little bit cuter than what it looks like when it's in a bun or a ponytail, something that looks a little bit more complicated than what it actually is. It actually takes not much more time than what it takes to put your hair in a bun or a ponytail. And I'm also gonna go ahead and show you the makeup that I typically do when it's just too hot and I really can't be bothered to do a whole lot with my makeup. It's also really fast, probably takes me less than 5 minutes. But as always, I will have timestamps in the description box, so if you don't want to watch any of the makeup, totally understand. You can skip right on past it. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a licensed hairstylist with over 20 years of experience, and on this channel, I use those 20 years of experience to help you have healthy, happy hair. So what we are looking at is day 3 hair, and my hair is pretty frizzy, and you can see I do actually still have some really nice curls on the ends of my hair, and it's gotten flattened in other spots and stretched out, and then some of my loose waves and curls have just basically given up on life. So first off, I'm going to start with putting in the Evolve Wonder Balm. I've really been loving this lately, and I love the fact that it also has a UV protectant. So I'm going to start off with that by kind of putting it in mostly around my face and along the top. So just smoothing it in where my hair is going to be exposed to the world. So kind of pulling it back and putting it in there and kind of controlling some of the frizz. And I'll get to individual curls later after I have put my hair up and seen what it looks like. So that's going to help tame it down to a certain extent. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the pieces of hair that I want to leave down. And if you see me looking right past the camera and not into the camera, I'm just looking at my mirror, which happens to be right behind you, and I kind of need to see what I'm doing. So I just determine kind of how much hair I want to leave out around my face, and I do like to leave a little bit out, and I even like leaving some longer pieces. And I'll kind of fix these kind of lazy curls here in a minute, and I'll show you how I do that. And then I just kind of decide if I want to leave like some little bits hanging out around my ears, which I might. And again, I'll show you kind of how to fix some of that. Okay, so once I have pulled out the hairs that I want to leave out, and there will probably be some little bits hanging down in the back as well. Whether I want them to be there or not, I usually have little baby hairs that come down, and then once they get sweaty, they really, really curl up into tight little curls. So I might as well pull those out while we're at it. And then I start to kind of bring up my hair back. And most of the time I kind of just use my fingers to comb it back, because the sides, since they're less curly, they tend to smooth out pretty easily on their own just by using my fingers. And then in through the top, I'll kind of smooth that through, run my fingers through. It'll break up the curls a little bit, but we can fix that at the end. And then if you really want to smooth it, you can take like a combination boar and nylon bristle brush. I think this one is probably similar. It's dirty. You can see I've got lots of hair in it. Sorry about that. This one I think is similar to the Be Hairful brush, which I probably won't ever try just because I'm not paying that much for a brush. Not when this is a professional brush and it costs considerably less. This is an Olivia Garden brush, and it is the same brand as the other styling brush that I use. I will be doing a demonstration or a comparison between this brush and the other one that I typically use. That'll be coming up at some point. So then that way you can see which one you might want to choose based on how different they look. And then the reason why I like using this to kind of smooth it is because that's kind of what these types of brushes are for. Is the boar bristles are good for really smoothing the hair. Typically when you're drying the hair, those boar bristles will really help to smooth and polish the hair. But it'll also do something similar when you are trying to pull it back to put it up, so it'll kind of smooth everything back nicely. And you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but it will just kind of make it look a little bit more polished in the end. So once I have my hair back, I put it in kind of a low ponytail down here, and then I'm just gonna twist it, and I'm gonna bring it up, and then I'm gonna take a claw clip, a really, really big claw clip, because I have thick, coarse hair, so I really like the big ones, and this won't even shut all the way once I put my hair in it. So what I like to do is I dig this in to really gather up all that hair, and then I bring it over to the other side and try to dig it in over there and let my hair kind of fall. And then we turn around to the front and we've got some craziness going on. And this is where we're gonna start kind of playing around with it and seeing what we can do to make this a little less crazy, because some of the hair that's being featured up here is not the best looking curls. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Evolve, and I'm going to really concentrate that into these ends up here so that they can get a little less frizzy, and I can work on restoring some shape to them and just have a little less frizz overall, and kind of play around with them to get it to look however I want. And I'm also going to put it in with whatever's left on my hands in the front pieces here as well, and let those kind of spring back into shape, and the little pieces here so that they're not really frizzy, and the pieces in the back, and then smooth more on the sides because those are starting to, we've got a few little pieces sticking out. And because this keeps forming a giant super clump up here, I'm just gonna separate this a little bit and get that looking how I want. And same thing with this piece. And you can see that even though this was straighter when I first pulled it out, it's starting to regain some of its curl from having the serum put in it. And these are no longer fuzzy. And then these pieces back here, and we'll put some of that in there, and that'll help curl it up. We could also use some spray or some water to spray on it, and same thing up in the front. Just take it and spray it and let the water do its magic. And then for the stuff on the top, you can either leave it like it is, or you can go ahead and use some of these little mini clips. You can use bobby pins as well, but I like these a lot better than bobby pins for something quick and easy. And then also because these will help retain some of the curl and volume that you naturally have going on. It doesn't flatten it as much as like a bobby pin would. The only thing is that they can be a little bit harder to kind of hide, but not necessarily. So I just pinned the straighter piece back and pulled the curlier piece up front, and just kind of went in, and I'm just rearranging things however I want it to look, and put the little things in there and hide them either in a curl or a wave or whatever. Just kind of tuck it all on in. And you can also use like some working spray and do like a quick mist, and then go in there and kind of work with it while it's still wet to help reduce any kind of frizz that's sticking out all over the place. I don't do that a whole lot because the point is not for it to look perfect. Doesn't have to look perfect. Just needs to look nice and cool and cuter than a ponytail, which we have accomplished. It is definitely cuter than a ponytail. It's up there, out of the way, it's off my neck, it's off my shoulders, and it's not gonna drive me nearly as nuts. And then that's what it looks like from the side and from the back.
From the other side, pretty quick and easy. Takes a little bit longer than a bun or a ponytail, but looks like you spent a lot more time doing it. And then as those pieces that you sprayed down with water start to dry, they're going to curl back up. They're gonna revert back to whatever their natural shape is and won't be so stretched out. And you can do something similar with the stuff that's up top if you want to spray any spots down with water to kind of revive any of those curls or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. I am going to go ahead and move on to makeup because I want to keep this simple and easy and not spend a whole lot more time than what I already have. So basically the makeup that I like to wear in the summertime when I just cannot be bothered, and actually the older I get, the less I really like doing makeup and dealing with all of that. One of my favorite products to use is the Origins Ginseng SPF 40 Tinted Moisturizer. And this stuff is really kind of weird because it comes out white, but that's not what it looks like once it's done. So I just pop it on all over. And I like it because it has the SPF. So between my hair that now has a UV protectant in it and my face, which is now getting a 40 SPF, I have some sun protection going on. And all I do is I put it on in little spots like that, and I use my fingers to just rub it in everywhere. And now, is this full coverage? Absolutely not. This is extremely sheer coverage, but it does help the skin a little bit to kind of even things out and at least blur things a little bit. And it's not gonna hide blemishes a whole lot. You would probably need concealer for that, but I'm pretty lazy when it comes to makeup, as I've mentioned multiple times. And all I want is just to get something on there to kind of help blend everything in and work as a dual function as my sunscreen. And then because my skin is really super oily, I always powder it no matter what I put on my face as far as makeup goes. If I don't wear anything on my face, I obviously don't wear powder either. I just deal with the oil slick all day. But I will be using the Maybelline Lasting Fix Banana Translucent Powder, setting powder or whatever. I've used a wide variety of different powders, but I do really like this one, and I like that it's really super affordable, especially because as an oily skin person, I kind of go through a lot of this, a lot of powder in general. And I do apply this with a big fluffy brush, mostly starting with the center of my face, which is where most of the oil comes from, and then I just kind of work my way out. And then sometimes I'll put on an eyeshadow like really quickly. I'll just do a single eyeshadow. So I might do something like this. This is an Origins product. It's Origins Copper Penny. Doesn't really look very coppery or penny-y, but I like that it's similar-ish in like intensity to my skin tone, and it just kind of brightens up my eyes and adds a little bit of shimmer. So I usually smooth that on a little bit, or another single eyeshadow, something that's got a little bit of shimmer to it just to wake me up a little bit. But I don't always do that. Sometimes I just go right from that into putting on a mascara, and this one is L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. This really isn't necessarily my favorite mascara. It does tend to give me panda eyes after a few hours. So I'm trying to find a good mascara again. I used to use one many years ago, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. It was a drugstore brand and it was amazing. But it's not a brand that I see carried in the US anymore, which kind of sucks. And I really wish that I could remember the name of it right now, but I can't. I used it in my teens, my 20s, and then I stopped seeing it in the stores and stopped using it, but it didn't smudge and it worked great. And so all I do is put on the mascara and have mascara face. But you can see the difference is subtle, but there is a little bit of a difference. It just kind of brings my eyes out a little bit more, makes me look a little bit more awake, and looks like I actually have eyeballs. And I'll just do the same again on the other side. I had to step away from the camera to put that on because this is not the side that I can do very easily. since I am right-handed. And then my eyebrows, for the most part, I usually don't fill them in. I do sometimes, depending on how much of a makeup look I'm going for, but I actually have fairly decently thick eyelashes. They're getting a little thinner as I get older, but for the most part, they're dark, they're thick. I didn't overpluck them in my youth, and so all I do is I just kind of brush through them, partially to get that powder out of them, because I just brushed right over my eyebrows with the powder. So this gets that out so that they can go back to being dark, and it brushes them in the right way, and we're done with eyebrows. And then a lot of times all I do for lip color is, I love this one. It's one of the Bobbi Brown crushed lip color. I can't remember. And I can't remember the name of it. I'll have it in the description box what this is. But most of the time in my videos, this is what I'm wearing. But the thing I like about this is it gives your lips kind of like a nice natural sheen. I like the color. It's just a really natural color. It's not really like a really light nude or anything really jarring or different from what you would expect to see on my face. So I really like this a lot. It's moisturizing and it's very fuss-free. Once it sinks in, it really doesn't run or slide around or anything like that. So this is, I really like Bobbi Brown lip colors just in general, but I like their crushed liquid lip color, whatever the heck it's called. I really like that a lot. So that is the hair and the face done, and typically how I would do my hair and makeup in the summer when I just can't be bothered to spend a whole lot of time and I don't want to leave it hanging down and really hot, because I might have mentioned this before, I do have high density hair. It's really heavy and it gets really hot because of how thick it is. It's too much, and I like having it up, but I don't necessarily always want to have it in a ponytail or a bun. Sometimes it's nice to do something different, and I really love these claw clips. I used to use them back in the 90s all the time, so I'm glad that they've kind of come back around again because I think they're great. But anyway, kind of looking at myself now, this is definitely more casual for just kind of whatever, spending some time out and about during the day. Maybe a little bit of a wardrobe change. Different top, different lip color. I'm someone who really likes a red lip, even though I don't like wearing a lot of makeup elsewhere. In fact, I kind of find that this is a cheat. This makes you look more polished and put together with a minimal amount of makeup, because you really don't want to wear a whole lot with red lip anyway, or at least I don't. I like to just focus on the red lipstick and tone everything else down. So I find that this makes me look like I put way more effort in than what I did. Plus, if I'm out and about in the summertime, I have some sunglasses on and you'll be able to still see the red lips. And I do like wearing red lips year round. I don't stick with red lips just for holidays or special occasions. And even this is probably a little bit more dressed up than what I even wear red lipstick with, because I am known to wear ripped up jeans, a clean white t-shirt, and red lipstick, and my hair all up, and call it good. Just because I really like the contrast of kind of the more dressier, or at least the perception of being more dressed up with the red lips and the more casual attire. So I am all ready for dinner. If I did that sort of thing, don't really have much of a social life, but that's by choice. I'm an introvert. It takes my friends a lot of energy to try to be able to pull me out, because most of the time I just don't want to go. I would much rather be alone, because that's how I recharge my batteries, and being around a lot of people tends to drain me. So anyway, I just thought I'd share this with you and show you what is a typical updo for me in the summertime, or anytime really, and what I do if I don't really want to do a ponytail or a bun and I want to look a little bit cuter, a little bit more put together. Then this is what I do, and I decided to throw the makeup in there just in case you were curious about that. So let me know if you liked this sort of video and would like to see more going forward, or if you don't want me to do this ever again. Go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. But if you like this video, if you could hit that thumbs up button, that would be awesome. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.